Hi, I'm John Twist of University Motors. Today I want to talk just a little bit about front shocks. We have here an example in MGA Coupe, but the front shocks are the same: TD, TF, MGA, MGB. Midgets only have one arm, same style of shock. MGC, of course, is a more modern tube-type shock, but they've got torsion bar suspension. The MGA, the MGB, has the front suspension. They began with the MGYT in 1949, which is a coil style front suspension with a shock at the top. So we started off with this car, this MGA Coupe, with bad front shocks. Now the shocks are supposed to dampen the movement of the coil spring, the harmonic action of the coil spring. It should be nigh but impossible to push on this and get this to move. It should have an enormous amount of restriction. The amount of restriction changes between the compression stroke and the rebound stroke. Now down on the inside of here are some little pistons. One piston has a steel O-ring, one has a rubber cup. But there's fluid that goes in the shock. That fluid is pushed through this valving, depending on whether it's the compression or the rebound stroke. When the shocks get as bad as this, which is no shock at all, then the coil spring begins to vibrate. All springs have harmonic action. All springs, leaf springs, coil springs, they all have a harmonic. And if you pick up the harmonic, which with our cars seems to be about 60 miles an hour, where the front wheel starts to chatter and the steering wheel starts to shake, then what can happen is the coil spring can fracture. It can only take so much beating. So here's a coil spring which is fractured because the shock was bad. So we just put new shocks on there, put some used springs on there, and when the owner comes to get the car on Tuesday, when the owner comes to get the car on Tuesday, then he should have a nice smooth ride all the way home. Just a short one today. It's supposed to be about 1,000,000 degrees, above zero this next week with high humidity. So when we tune in next week, I'm sure we'll be sweating. Anyway, remember that I'll be in Altoona, Pennsylvania the weekend after Labor Day in September. Until then, we're here at University Motors. You can call between 1 and 2 with your technical questions. And it's a lot better to call than to email. I'm behind, and that's an understatement. I'm behind on answering my emails. Anyway, until then, see you later.